Welcome to your new 12-volt Fresair air conditioning unit. Today we'll be going through the unboxing and installation. You should have 2 reels of different thickness weatherproofing foam, a cutout template, and a replacement pine filter for maintenance. In this bag you have the zip ties, mounts, decals, and owner's manual. Here are the replacement pumps. These are bolts in varying lengths, nuts, and caps to keep it all watertight. And finally, the Fresair unit itself. Here's the optional finishing plate and harness that comes wrapped around, which contains your positive and negative 12-volt connections, power for your pump and float valve, and also your return and injection hoses. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take the template and trace it onto the roof with a larger notch towards the front. You want the Fresair unit mounted directly over the front passengers, about 12 to 16 inches from the front of the roof. You can drill holes in the corners to make it easier to get the jigsaw blade in and to also help with the curves. Deburr the rough edges and you're ready to start. To show you how the unit functions, we're going to remove the cover and snap the filter out of place. Water comes from the pump and circulates around through this tube and down through the pine filter. Once through, it drops down into this tray, circulates around through these filters, first, second, and then the return pump pumps it through the return hose back to the high point on the reservoir. This is how you insert the pump, connect the injection hose, and insert the float valve, making sure that the green dot is facing up. Go ahead and connect the wires to the float valve and pump, the negative and positive, and here's how you do the same thing on the 5-liter version. The 5-liter version comes with a remote fill hose and cap, which can be mounted as you see fit. Now go ahead and place the unit into your roof. Strip away some of the harness if you need to, and drill holes in the spot marked universal. You may need to customize the roof a bit to get the bolts to fit. Various lengths are included to fit your roof needs. Whichever bolt length you use, be sure to use the small black rubber O-rings to create a watertight seal between the bolt head and the unit. Now go ahead and mark the perimeter with tape and place the foam weather stripping just inside those marks. You basically just want a good seal all the way around to keep the weather out, which is also why we include 2 different size foam tapes for your needs. Now you can go ahead and drop the unit into place, bolt it down, being careful not to over tighten the bolts, which could crack or warp the base of the unit, and use the included red caps to cap over the bolts. Now go ahead and snap the filter back into place and mount the harness the way you see fit. Next, place the roof back on, bolt it down, and measure your wires and hoses to the length that you need. For this particular golf cart, we'll be mounting the hidden remote fill reservoir underneath the rear of the golf cart. Although you can also use the larger 8-liter battery-sized reservoir under the seat if you have room, or in the rear cargo area. Select which reservoir you prefer when ordering. It might help at this point to tape the ends of the wires if you plan to route them internally down the stanchion, although they can also be routed externally as well. And the same thing also applies for the hoses. Here are the included zip ties and mounts, which you can use to clean up the installation. Installing the 5-liter reservoir may require you removing the wheel so you can have easier access. Here's an example of where the remote reservoir fill can be mounted, although you can choose your own location. Now insert the float valve, the pump, and connect the hoses and electrical fittings. You may have to customize the wires to meet your length needs. Remount your wheel, fill with water, and test the unit. Water should be flowing through the hoses up top. Replace the cover, starting with the front and moving towards the back. There are 6 included screws for this, 4 long and 2 short. The short screws go in the front of the unit, and the rest on the sides and back. Now you can mount the optional trim ring with the 2 included screws. If you happen to buy the unit with the hoses that mount under the roof line, you may have to cut an extra notch at the back of the roof template so the unit drops into place without crimping the hoses. Now enjoy your Fresair.